in the future, even if I feel like if something comes up.
So talking about the attraction, is the law of attraction real, and how does it, come into play in our love lives as well?
Yeah. The law of attraction is real, but it's one of 12 different universal laws that are
Yeah.
true. It's just the one that has the best PR, right? It's the one that had a movie made about it. So it's the one that we know about the
Hmm.
most. And the law of attraction doesn't say like I think about it and then I'm attracting it. It says that you're attracting what is like you.
Okay, so like for like.
So it says like attracts like.
But
That's what the
sometimes
law of attraction.
you might be a direct opposite of your partner. Is it
Well,
that does it mean that the law of attraction does not come into play, or that is not really working for you?
well, it always works. It's just that sometimes we use it intentionally and sometimes we use it by default.
Mm, mm,
So if I am thinking about the kind of partner I want to have and I am taking the characteristics of that kind of a partner for
mhm.
myself. So I'm really intentional about like this is the kind of person I want to have in my life and this is the kind of person that I want to be so I can be with that
Yeah.
person. If we're intentional about those things, then we're using the law of attraction in an intentional way.
Okay.
If we're not thinking about those things, if we're like, I really want a person who's like this, but we don't do anything to actually become like that, then we're going to attract, we sometimes are really not that great of a judge of ourselves.
Mm.
So we'll be like, I want somebody who is very wealth conscious. And then we don't open up our own bills because we're afraid to see them.
They come to
You
us
know?
and we think we don't deserve them.
Exactly. Or we don't do the things that would make us wealth
Hmm.
conscious,
Yeah.
or we'll say like, I want a partner who's in very good shape, but we don't do things to get in very good shape, or we'll say, I want a partner who's very emotionally mature, very emotionally healthy, but we don't go into therapy or try to heal the things that are going on with us, and so sometimes that will happen, and someone who comes in to our lives who is all the things that we think that we want, right? And we're not those things, they will really soon show that they're not all the things that we think that we want. They're a lot more like us
Yes, yes, yes.
than we thought.
Hmm.
We will find out over time because we didn't, because it's not, it just always works that way in relationships. It's just the thing that you see over and over again.
Okay. Okay. So it means that, for instance, when like people are struggling to attract love,
Mm-hmm.
and these same people, find it so easy to more or less attract money, but they find it difficult to attract love because the law of attraction perhaps is not working for them.
No, it's working all the time. But if we think that attracting love is hard,
Hmm.
then that's the
Okay.
belief that we're putting
Okay.
out.
So it registers. It
So
registers is in our
yeah,
subconscious.
yeah. If we say attracting love is
Hmm.
hard, or then I think of it like I always talk about God and I talk about the
Yeah.
universe, and God and the universe are not the same
Hmm.
thing. The God and the universe are different in the same way that your spirit and your body are
Yeah.
different, right? So the universe is just a system of laws. It is impersonal. Gravity doesn't care if you believe in it or not, right? If you fall out a
It will
window,
ha- it will
you're
ha-
going
it
to
will
smash
happen
on
to
the
you
ground.
regardless.
Right. Right. And that's how that's how the universal laws are too,
Mm,
right? So the universe is always going to just reflect back what you think that you
yeah.
deserve. If you say love is hard, it's going to say, yes, love is
Love is
hard.
hard.
If you say love is impossible for me, love is scarce, it's going to say, yes, love is scarce. Here's
Wow.
that experience
Wow.
for you.
Wow. Wow.
So much of it has to do with us deciding what's going to be true for us
Mm,
and then living and being that way. So I'm going to behave differently if I believe that love is abundant than I would if I believe that love is scarce.
okay. Okay. So
you know, and the
how we
combination.
think, how we perceive things, how we see things in general affects even
Mhm.
the kind of connection, even the kind of people we get connected to.
Yes, it impacts what we attract to
Mm,
us, and it impacts the way we behave and the choices we make and the action we take. So it's impacting both of those things. It impacts what comes into our life, and it impacts our our behavior, our words, our decisions, all of those things. They are all impacted by what we believe is true for us, what we believe is true for us, and what we believe is possible for us, true about us and possible for us.
okay. 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 So as a love coach, a dating strategist, what do you think are some of the reasons why people are struggling to find love in this current generation? What do you think are some of the current or some of the problems or challenges of people, like especially the women you
Yeah.
deal with or you coach each and every time?
Well, one big thing I've noticed that's like kind of unique to our to this
Mm-hmm.
time, you know, to like our generation or
Yeah.
whatever, is that people think that they have to date online,
Or dating
and
online.
everybody people think that online dating is something that they have to do if they want to meet someone,
Okay.
and at the same time they hate online dating. So there's this giant conflict that's going on for them in their spirit. It's like, I have to do this thing for love that I hate doing, but I have to
Have
do
to
it,
do
or
it.
else no one will ever, I'll never meet anyone.
Mm.
Right. And what they forget is that people have been meeting and falling in love and making commitments to each other and getting married and having families and having children since before the internet ever
Yeah.
existed, for thousands of
Mm-hmm.
years. Right. People forget about that. And they think that if they don't do it that way, they start to have a belief that says, this is the only way that love can come in my life, you know? So that's a really big problem. As soon as we start dictating to the universe how it can bring love to us, we've got a problem. If we're
There's a
like,
problem.
this is the only way it can come, that's a problem, because the universe has infinite ways to bring it to us,
Hmm.
you know? So if we say the only way, I believe that the only way you can bring it to me is the way that I hate the most in the world, then it's a big problem. And also just the belief that love is scarce.
Love is scarce.
You know, the belief that love is scarce. A lot of people have that belief that says love is scarce. And you'll see it in the things that they post on social media. People post stuff on social media, and I'll be like, just talk to a therapist. Don't be trying to crowdsource your healing on social media, because it's not, it doesn't work. It's not helpful. They'll be like, if people do you wrong, and then people will lie to you, people will lie to your face, people will cheat on you, and all these things. They'll say stuff like that on social media. And you're like, obviously you're hurting. Like, announcing it on social media is not the same thing as getting healing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know? And it's not like, if you're like, say you're single, right? And you're looking at somebody's stuff on social media, and she's got a bunch of stuff about how men always lie to you and men are always do you wrong and all of these other stuff, you're gonna be like, you're gonna keep scrolling, right? You're not gonna They're not gonna think to yourself like, wow, I really want to connect to her. She seems like she would be great to date.
Yes.
She's definitely healed from the past. you know you're not going to be thinking that at all. you know but so often people will do that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, it's a problem. It's a problem because we want to actually get healed. We want to heal things from the
Mm-hmm.
past, not just let everybody know how badly we were treated all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you've been treated badly and you announce it, it doesn't necessarily make healthy people want to help, but what it does is it signals to unhealthy people that you will put up with unhealthy behavior,
Mm, 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 mm.
and it makes you attractive to them.
Okay. Okay, that's really interesting to note. And you see, like the reason why I asked about why people struggle to find love is that you see women, for instance, when they cross a certain age, they tend to make it look as if beyond this age, it is more or less like in quote impossible to find love. Why do you think that
Mm.
women maybe from the age of 35, 40, 45, they have that, thinking that it's difficult for them to find
Mhm.
love?
Because we've told them that as a society. We tell women that they are not as valuable after a certain age, whether it's as valuable as partners or whether it's valuable as employees or whether it's valuable as just like contributing people in
Hmm.
society. And a lot of that is patriarchal because it's about making women feel like they have less to offer and men deciding whether women are valuable or not. And we will see a lot of people like, we will see a lot of men telling women, you should settle. If you're 35, I've had so many clients who've come to me who've been like 35, 45, 45, 40,
Hmm.
45, around
Hmm.
there. And they will be devastated because maybe they just listened to a podcast where somebody was like, if you're 40 and you don't look like Halle Berry, you should just settle.
That is,
If you're 35 and you have a kid, you should just settle. Just have any kind of guy, no matter how he treats
yeah.
you, because it's always easier, in a patriarchal society, right? You have men who are emotionally mature and emotionally intelligent and who are emotionally healthy, right? And then you have men who aren't, right? And they all have microphones now. They all have podcasts now,
Yeah, sharing all the stuffs.
right?
Yeah.
Everybody
Hmm.
does.
Hmm.
Everybody can get
Hmm.
their message out.
Yeah.
So if you have women who already are doubting their worth, right? And they are listening to a message from men who are not emotionally
Hmm.
mature, not emotionally intelligent, not particularly ambitious, not particularly successful. And she is all those things, right? It's a lot easier for him to try to get her to come down than it is for him to try to be on her level.
Okay. Okay.
So if he can stay here and just talk her down, talk her into believing that she's not as great as she thinks she is, and that she doesn't deserve what she thinks that she deserves, and that she's just waiting on some new special kind of man, those kind of things. If he can give her that message, then she will come down to where he is and not expect that there are already men here where she is. Right? It's the same thing people do when they're trying to buy a car. If you walk around a car and you kick the tires and you talk about, well, there's a scratch here and this is busted and it's got all these miles on it, you're doing that because you're trying to get them to talk down the
Yeah. Yes.
price.
Yes. Yes.
You're trying to get them to devalue it so that you can afford it,
Okay. So is it
right?
a case that
Because you don't have the money that they're asking for.
so is it a case that always men are trying to bring women down to their level, especially when they have not achieved what the women have achieved?
There is energy between men like that and women who don't think they're worthy of love.
Mm,
Those That is the connection. When you don't think you're worthy of love, you make yourself susceptible to people who will confirm that belief for you.
oh, okay. 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 But
And
it,
that's
it,
why
it
that's
does not
dangerous.
apply to all women. It's not all of
It
them.
does not apply to all
Mm,
women, just like it doesn't apply to all
okay.
men,
Okay. Okay.
right?
All right.
If a woman who is, if a woman who thinks that she is not worthy of love meets a man who does believe that she's worthy of love, it's going to be hard for them to have a relationship because she's just not going to believe him ever.
Oh, okay.
He's going to try to love her, but he's going to keep, after a certain point, he might just be like, you know what? I don't think I can get through to her.
Mm,
I don't know if I'll ever be able to really get through to
mm-hmm.
her. If she doesn't seem like she's actually believing it and taking it in and healing, it's going to be really hard,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you are a woman who believes that you are worthy of love and you hear these messages about like you should, if you don't look like Halle Berry and blah 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 blah, you're gonna be like, that's like nonsense. That doesn't mean anything. Like, who are these people saying this? Like, it's gonna be
Yeah.
laughable if the message isn't gonna land for you. you're going to be like, this is ridiculous. They're just spouting nonsense, and you're going to move on. It's not going to connect to you at all, you know? So it depends on like that's why it's so important for us to look at our beliefs about what we think is possible and what we think we deserve. Is really important, because when I say that it attracts those things into our life, that's very true. It attracts it into our life, but it also determines like, so if I have a client who thinks that she's not worthy of being loved, and she hears this message that says, you better look like Halle Berry if you're 40 and trying to be in a relationship with a man, right? She is going to think that maybe that's true. And she's going to start making choices in her love life of like, maybe I don't need somebody who is committed. You know, she's going to think maybe that's not possible. Yeah. Maybe there aren't a lot of men who are out there that are like that. Or if they are, that they wouldn't want me. You know, so much of it, you know, has to do with what we believe and what we believe is true about life.
Okay. So at age 40, 35, beyond, depending on your belief, you can still find somebody who matches your level of love, and not to reduce yourself to that level.
Absolutely. I've had clients from 20 to 65. Okay. Like there is no one age where suddenly women are not, you know, valuable to men anymore. There's no like age where suddenly it's impossible.
Okay.
You know, it's like what happens is that people buy into the belief and then they start creating that in their lives. People buy into that belief. They believe it's going to be hard. Now that I'm 40, it's going to be really hard. It's going to be impossible. And there are going to be women who listen to this who are 40 and they go, you don't know what you're talking about. I believe it's true because that's what I've seen in my life, because they're not understanding that they create what they see in their lives. They think it goes the other way around. They think I believe this because I keep seeing it in my life. Really, you keep seeing it in your life because you believe it.
Of course you believe it.
There's actually a part of our brain that's called the reticular activating system. It's responsible for selective attention.
Yeah.
And when we say something to that part of our brain, right? Yeah, the RAS, right? Reticular activating system. That's selective attention. So we pay attention to the things that we think already are true. We gather that as evidence, right? We think it's important. We notice it more. You know, so when you have a belief that says, when I'm 40, it's all over for me, or when I'm 45, it's all over for me, you're going to gather evidence that that belief is true. That's all you're going to notice. And it's even if there is a lot of evidence around you that it's not true, that people are getting married in their 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s, you know, you're going to go, yeah, but that doesn't match my belief, and I'm not really paying attention to it. It's not even going to come in onto your radar. I have to make clients look for the evidence that their belief is not true and gather it so that they can start putting something else into their reticular activating system as something to pay attention to. So they can start training their RAS to look for evidence of their new beliefs in the world.
Wow.
Because it's out there. It's there, you know?
Yeah. Because you realize that in our world now, people there's an age cap for women that once you cross this age, it's become very difficult for you to find a man to be with. And so you realize that most women are just rushing into more or less like marriages or relationships that ideally they shouldn't have been in. But because of what society is telling them or has told them or has made them to believe about themselves, now they hop into the relationship and then it backfires, and then it's like their whole life is in a messy situation.
Because they're thinking, well, I should just, if I can't have a good relationship, at least I just won't be alone. I'll be in some relationship. Yeah. Right? Because if you think like, well, when I hit 45, I can't, you know, there aren't any good partners out there that are left, or it's impossible. You're going to be like, well, then I may as well pick some loser You don't start a relationship, just to not be alone.
Yeah, just pick anybody.
And then anybody, like, it doesn't even matter. And they don't even have to necessarily be like a bad person. They're just not right for you.
Yeah. It's very true, because
So it's like,
not that you go and pick somebody who actually you might not want, but like you are saying, the
yeah,
person might not be a direct or a good fit for the kind of person you are.
for you. Yeah. They just might not be very compatible for you. So then you might go, well, let me get into this relationship so that I don't have to be alone. And then I'll just change everything about myself so that I can try to, like, survive in this relationship. So I can get some kind of, like, you know, comfort in it, or, so I can kind of fake our compatibility,
Yeah.
and so it will last for longer. Yeah.
So what's your
It's
advice to
hard.
those who are in the survival mode in the relationship, like those who are not thriving but they are just surviving in it, less as they are just praying for the days to go by, just anyhow, any means possible. Let us, just be in it. What will you
Yeah. That's,
advise, and per your encounters with people, and then your in-depth knowledge in this
yeah.
field?
My advice for them would be to try to think back to the time before they were in that relationship, and what they wanted in a partner, what they wanted love to be
Mm-hmm.
like. Because we all have this divine blueprint about love. And what we do is we get this divine blueprint and we're born with it. And it's like, this is what love is going to be. This is what love is going to feel like. And then we have these experiences in life and we go, oh, I guess I can't have a faithful partner. I should cross that off in my
Yeah.
blueprint. Oh, I guess I can't have this thing, whatever. We keep crossing it off. And then by the time we get to that point where we're just in a relationship we're settling for, our blueprint looks completely different than it did before. So coming back to it and going, well, what are the things that I used to think were possible in a relationship, but I started believing that they were impossible,
Mm.
right? And you need to start actually writing those things down, thinking about those things, and you have to make a decision, because you have to think about, is this a relationship that I really want to be in? And if you can tell that it's not a relationship that you want to be in, but you need help to get out, then you need to get that help,
Okay.
because life is short.
You need to enjoy life.
You need to enjoy life. You're not here to suffer and settle, and there is more out there for you.
Yes.
There, like, that's the hardest thing to believe. If you thought the perfect person was out there for you right now and you were in a relationship you were settling
Mm-hmm.
for, you would go.
Oh yeah, definitely,
you
definitely.
know what You would leave, right? What's hard is when we think that, well, what if I leave and then I don't have anyone?
I think that is the point, because sometimes we fear that I'm losing this person. What about if I don't find somebody who is equally as
Yeah.
he or she is, or better than this person? And so we say, okay,
Yeah.
let's try manage it. Let's hold on to it like that.
Yeah. But the problem is that relationship is already deteriorating. And there will come a point where either they leave or you leave.
Yes. Or sometimes, like, you are accommodating each other, you are in the relationship, but you are not feeling each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so
You don't, yeah. And the same thing that you're feeling, they're feeling that too, and you both deserve to actually be loved. Both of the people in that relationship deserve to be loved. We're not just meant to be taking up space in each other's lives because we're worried that something better won't come along.
mm,
you know
mm.
that's not what's for us. There's always going to be love in the world. There's always, like, love is never done with you.
Okay.
As long as you are alive, love is never done with
Oh,
you.
great.
As long as you're here on this earth,
Interesting. As
you
long
can
as you
find
are
stories
alive,
of, like,
love is never done with you.
love is never done with you as long
Interesting.
as you're
I like
alive.
that.
you know yeah, you can find stories of people who got married at 80 years old.
Yeah.
you know
Yes.
and look for them when you have those feelings of scarcity. Look for those stories, surround yourself in those stories, read those stories, because you want to not only program your reticular activating system, you're giving yourself evidence that it's possible. And when your subconscious believes something is possible, it's much easier for it to create it for you
Okay.
and to bring it into your
Okay.
life.
Okay. Okay. Do successful women actually struggle to attract men?
Yeah, usually what happens with successful women is that they will be doing really great at work. Maybe the other place they go to besides work is like they go to the
Mm-hmm.
gym. They really like the
Yeah.
gym, and they're at their home. So those are kind of the three places that they go. It's like home, work, gym, home, work, gym. That's what they do. And if they are successful at work, they don't want to date somebody at work because that's going to mess up work if it doesn't work out, right?
Definitely, definitely.
And if they really like their it's going to mess it up. And if they really like their gym, they don't want to date anybody at the gym because then they'd have to find another gym,
Okay.
and it like works out for them. So homework, so they don't find people in those spaces. And usually what they'll do is if they're feeling too lonely at a certain time, whatever in their life, like maybe a friend will, get married, or a friend has, or if they have a birthday that ends in a
Yeah.
5, or ends in a 0, what they might do is they might have a partner, they might take on a partner who is too young for them, but that they're very good sexually with, very sexually compatible
Yeah.
with, and they will finance that partner doing like going like traveling with them or doing different things, right? And they will tell themselves things about that partner like, well, what he brings such wonderful youthful energy to me, and like he's these younger men are so different because they really admire all of the success of like an older woman and all of these
Mm-hmm.
things,
Mm-hmm.
right? But at a certain point they have to kind of accept the fact that this person is not on the same wavelength as they are. He doesn't want the same things that they want. He doesn't have the same values that they want. He's from like a completely different
Yeah.
generation. So the thing that they have in common is that they have an intense sexual connection, and that's it, right? So then often she will break that relationship off when it just comes to the point where she's just tired of paying for him to travel everywhere or whatever. She just will get tired of it, and she'll just be like, okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
done, with
Mm-hmm.
this, right? And then she'll devote herself back into work, gym, home, work, gym, home, work, gym, home, and that will be her life. And then something else will happen, right? Like she has another birthday, or another friend gets married, or
Mm-hmm.
something else will
Mm-hmm.
happen, right? And then what she'll do is she'll gather all of her friends together, and they'll go to Aruba, or they'll go to Tulum, or they'll go someplace that's like very
Yeah.
Instagrammy, and they'll be on beaches, and they'll be like, I'm looking the best I've ever looked in my life, and they'll have lots of pictures and all these things, right? But then when they come home, it's just them again, and then they'll get back into that cycle of like maybe they'll get a younger guy, or maybe they'll go back to an ex, or maybe they'll, so they kind of just keep doing that same thing until something breaks the cycle. And usually what breaks the cycle is that it's that birthday, or it's that family reunion
Mm-hmm.
that they go to where everybody's like, how come you're not married yet? How come you're this? How come you're that? Right? Or it's like maybe now their best friend gets married. Now they don't have anybody to do the Instagram vacations with and stuff
Yeah.
like that anymore. There aren't any more distractions. And it will just, the pain or the loneliness that they've been kind of like distracting themselves from will become too much to ignore anymore, and they feel bad to say that, like, a lot of times they'll say to me, I want to be the girl in my relationship. And what they mean is like, when I'm with a younger man, I make all the decisions, I pay all of the bills, I do all of the things. And they're like, I want to get to be the woman in my relationship. And I understand what they mean, but they're afraid to say that to other people. They feel like ashamed to say that to other people because they think it means that they're saying that, they don't, that they're rejecting their
Yeah.
independence or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they don't want to say that. So that's when they usually come to me.
Okay. So how do you help them with respect to, I know you've spoken about trying to let people heal, be clear about what
Mm-hmm.
they want and about their beliefs and stuff, but particularly with
Mm-hmm.
this group of women, successful women, as we
Mm-hmm.
want to put it, how do you deal with them?
Yeah. So usually they have beliefs that say that their worth lies in their productivity, or that they're only going to be loved if they are successful.
Okay.
That they're only, and it's usually because they had parents who didn't pay a lot of attention to them unless they got really good
Yeah.
grades, or unless, they did really, those kinds of things. And so they learned that they have to perform, they have to achieve in order to be loved. So that's the first thing that we do for them, is help them to really believe that they deserve love for who they are, not for what they do.
Okay, so you
And
tell them
sometimes
that
that's
they deserve love for who they are, not
Mhm.
the kind of
Not
work
for
or
what they
not
do.
how productive they are.
Exactly. And that takes a little while for that to get
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
So we do a few different things to help them actually believe that and take that into their heart. The other thing is that there are some kind of surface level beliefs that they always end up seem to have. One is like, men are intimidated by me. And I help them reframe that. And I'm like, no, boys are intimidated by you.
Not actually men.
Not men.
Real men will not be intimidated.
Strong. No, they would not be
Interesting.
intimidated by you. That's not how that works. The kind of men that you want to be with are not going to be intimidated by you being successful and being smart, being educated and those
Yeah.
things, right? They're going to be like, my wife is amazing. She is the perfect partner for me to move through life with. We're building together. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want a stupid wife. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want a lazy wife. My wife is interesting. She's like me.
Yeah.
We're both educated. That's how they would be, And so we do a lot of work that's around that, around like helping them understand just, and a lot of times too, for women who are in that world and who are like that, they have this belief that says that their intellect is their most powerful tool that they could possibly have.
Yes.
And so they don't understand a lot about their intuition. They don't understand a lot about their spirit, because they put all their faith and all their confidence in their intellect. It's all here. Because their intellect is
It's
powerful,
very powerful.
But there are some things, it's powerful, but it can't heal you. It can't heal your spirit. And the beliefs that you have are not in your intellect. They're in your spirit. They're in your subconscious mind, and they need to be healed there.
I think that is where the problem is, because for all these women, you see them highly intellectual, and then but still you see that there's something actually missing.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's because their whole lives they have been praised, or not even just praised, but like the only thing that people think is important or valuable about them, the thing that people have acknowledged about them, or that people have encouraged about them, has been their intellect.
Yes.
And so that's and for a lot of them, like, that's how they got into the positions that
and
they're in.
That's what they hold on to. They hold on to, and then they don't want to release it, because that is what they are always championing. This is my trump card. That is what I do, and then
this is who I am. This is my secret weapon. This is my most powerful tool. And it's really hard to help them understand that, like, their intuition is powerful. That their spirit is powerful. Their softness is powerful. Their femininity is powerful. It's not just about how productive they can be in the world. And that's a hard thing for them a lot of times to understand, because they don't get that message. If we're working together, I'm the only person in their life giving them that message. And they'll see me 1 hour of the week. And the whole rest of the time, the message they get when they turn on the TV, when they look at their Instagram, when they are talking to people at work, is the opposite of what I'm telling them. So it takes a while for that shift to happen for them.
Okay.
It takes a little while. But as soon as that shift does happen, and they realize, oh, this is what you meant when you said my intellect can't solve all my problems. This is what you meant when you said that my beliefs are in my spirit, and the spirit is the realm of energy work. This is what you meant, you know. Then they'll make a shift, and then they'll see a change happen in their life, and then they'll go, maybe this is true. And then we'll make more shifts, and they'll see more changes, you know. And then after a couple of months, they're like, they feel different, and life feels easier, you know, and they're attracting a different type of man into their lives than they were attracting before. And it's a little bit easier. It gets easier and easier and easier. And then pretty soon they're actually attracting, what I've noticed is it goes like, there's like stages. So when I work with women in the beginning, they just work and home and crickets. Their love life, there's no love life. Like everything is nothing, right? Nothing's going on. And then the second stage, they start to attract attention, but it's not good attention, right? So we start the healing work, but they start to attract attention from men, but it's not healthy masculine attention. It's like men who want to have sex before they're ready to, or it's like the kind of men that they know are just not healthy men for them, right? And then a lot of times women will feel like they want to give up. They're like, well, at least it was better when nobody was hassling me, right? They're like, it was better when I was alone. It was better when I was lonely, right? But you have to move through that, because it goes no attention, bad attention, healthy attention, right attention. So it's like you got to move through that. In the beginning, they're not getting any attention. They start the healing work as they progress. And the second part of it is now they're getting bad attention. You keep doing the healing work, you keep progressing. And then they're getting good attention, but not necessarily from the right kind of guys, like not guys that they would have chemistry with. Good men, but just not compatible for them, you know? And then the next part, if they keep going with their healing, is that now they're attracting good attention from men who are right for them. But what always happens is it's two. It will always be two that show up, because the universe makes them make a decision.
So that you are torn between the two, who to pick.
It's always two. And the strange thing about it is the illusion is that there is a perfect choice, because the truth is you would be happy with either one of these people. And what happens is, like, we're supposed to be creators of our lives. We're supposed to choose the life that we want. So sometimes we are forced to make a choice, because that makes us more powerful creators. We have to get in the habit of creating. We have to get in the habit of making a choice, you know? So especially for something as important as love, it's not like, oh, just bestow love upon me, and then and whatever you say is fine. No, like it comes to you and you make a choice. You have to choose the life. You've asked for this life, so now you choose, you know? And either you have to be honest about the choice, and you have to be honest with both of these people. You cannot go back to bad habits. You cannot be deceptive. You have to be honest, and you have to choose, you know? And as soon as you do that, now you're in like happy times. Now you can be into your exclusive committed relationship. And guess what? The person you didn't choose, they will be happy with somebody else. They'll be fine. Yeah. Someone else will choose them, and they'll be okay too.
It's interesting because
it is. But I've seen it like when I tell you, I have seen this at least 1,000 times. I've been doing this work for a little more than 10 years. And I have seen it at least 1,000 times, like to the point where I have a graph to show people this is what will happen for you.
It happens.
Especially for that's what happens. And especially for my women, my clients who are CEOs, and you know, like they want to see those things, and then I show them, and I'll even like they'll be in stage 3, and I'll be like, remember when you were stage 1, and then you went to stage 2, and now you're in stage 3, and they'll be like, oh my God, that's exactly what happened. Yes, because it always goes like that. Now here's what's happening next. You'll be in stage 4, you know, and it helps them because they have some clarity. They understand, they know what to expect. They know what's going to happen next. And so they're not thrown off when when those things happen. They know that it's natural, that's the natural course of it.
Wow. You are really doing an amazing job. And then as a love coach, dating strategist, and being a speaker all over. And you've written a number of books, right?
I have, yeah.
Okay. What are some of the titles?
One is called the Heartache Cure,
Oh,
and it's an
oh,
ebook.
okay.
And actually, if you go to theheartachecure.com, you can pick it up. It's pretty short, easy to read little ebook. And that's the book that I recommend to people the most, because it helps. It meets you right where you are when your heart has been broken.
Mm.
You know, and if the breakup was 5 days ago, or if the breakup was 5 years ago, it shows you like, this is how it's impacting your love life now. So here's what you can do to heal.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for coming on board and then sharing your insight into this thing, because we all need love. We all have to show love. We all have to receive the love back. It's like an energy. You give the energy, you receive the energy back. So we all need it. We all need it. Either way, wherever you find yourself, whether you're a male, whether you're a female, whoever you are, you need love. You need love. But we still live in a world where people are still struggling with love. And so we need you guys around to be able to direct people, help people, in order for them to also, be at peace with themselves, especially when they've gone through traumatic relationships and then things. Yeah. So how can we connect
Yeah.
if my audience want to connect with you? Where do we find you? How do we connect with you?
The best thing to do is probably to go to my Instagram, and you can message me through that. And my Instagram is Carissa Love Healer. So it's spelled Carisa and then Love
Okay.
Healer, no
Yeah.
spaces. Or they can go through my website, which is Carissa, Carisa Montooth, Montooth.com. You can message me through there. You can take a look at what I do. You know, you can take a look at my YouTube channel. A lot of times when people are like, I'm not sure if I want to go, if I want to talk to you, they'll go on YouTube and they'll watch all my videos, and then they'll be like, okay,
Okay. I'm convinced now.
I know I need to talk. Yes, I understand what this will be like,
Great, great,
So there's a
great,
lot of
great,
good
great, great,
information there
great,
too.
great. What are your final words to us? For those who are in love, for those who are yet to find love, for those who are struggling with our love lives, what are your final words to us as a love coach, as a dating strategist, and healer, everything that you've spoken about?
You don't make love happen, you make love welcome,
You don't you
and you
don't
do that
make
by healing.
love happen.
You don't make love happen,
You,
you make love
you make
welcome,
love welcome,
and you do that by healing.
and you do that by healing.
Hmm.
Wow. Wow. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, you don't make love happen, you make love welcome, and you do that by healing.
Great, great. So wherever we find ourselves, we should just be in that mood of getting to know ourselves, getting to heal from every experience or every traumatic stuff that we've gone through in terms of relationship, and then we'll
Mhm.
be fine with our love life.
Exactly.
Great,
Yep.
great, great, great. Thank you so much for coming on board, Carissa, for sharing your insight into today's episode. And yeah, I know people love it. I know, because yeah, like I said, everybody is trying one way or the other to find love. And so it's an interesting,
Well, thank you so
it's
much for
yeah,
having
it's
me.
an
Yeah.
interesting area. So yeah, so lovely
Yeah.
viewers, audience, anybody who gets hold of this video audio form, I know you are going to connect with Carissa wherever you find yourself your love stage, whether you are surviving or you're thriving in it. Yes, you still need somebody who has delved deeper into it to coach you, and then to give you all that you need as a person, or as a man or as a woman trying to navigate this part of life. Yes. So thank you so much for coming on board. This is the King Obed Podcast, and this episode was so fantastic. And as you get to hear a number of episodes coming again, I know you come again, and then we have an extensive conversation again with regards to the things you are doing. So thank you very much for coming on board.
I would love to. Thank you.
Right, 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 right.